Not bad. I've had
This
better.
is coming
That
down
was
to a
good.
skill.
It is.
I'm developing a useless skill. You don't get to talk about that in regular life very often.
Talk's got the clap.
There we go. Now it's a normal conversation.
You guys are the fucking worst. Hey guys, Talks Too Much Third Party Studios. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Third Party Podcast. We just came out of the theater seeing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It was awesome. Just spoiler alerts. No, I'm just kidding.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Spoiler, it was awesome. All right, next.
We're gonna jump into this episode. We're just gonna give our initial thoughts out of the gate, so that people who want to know whether or not to look forward to this movie have something to go off of. And then a little later, we are going to be getting into a spoilers version of our thoughts, so that we can get a little bit deeper dive into it. With me, as always, we have the Cody.
What's up?
Cody wearing his glasses, which is real.
That part is real. He didn't make that one up.
And then we have the Slim.
Yo.
Slim, I don't know why you thought it was appropriate to come here in a bikini today,
Yes.
but I don't appreciate
I
it.
thought you were going to say
This
that.
Why has
is
it got
a
the
place
Rush-
of business.
Why has it got the Russian flag on it?
Yeah, bikini with the Russian flag. Man, you just destroying.
I mean, it's red, white, and blue, but it's
I'm
kind of...
I'm a commie.
So, thank you guys for coming in. If you're a first-time viewer of the channel, subscribe to the channel. Check us out on other reviews we have on the channel. Stick around for our other live playthroughs of video games that we do weekly. And if you like the video, hit the like button as we go through it. But glad you're all here. We are, like I said, coming out of the theater for Volume 3 of Guardians of the Galaxy. And without giving away any spoilers, I just wanted to ask, what did you guys think of the trailer when this was previewing? Like, when you were kind of before we went into the theater, what were your thoughts leading into it?
I thought I was going to like it more than anything that's come out since No Way Home. I knew that it was going to be better than all that trash that we got.
Mm-hmm.
But...
Well, I mean...
I wasn't like, this is going to be awesome. Fuck yeah.
I wasn't too...
I was more like,
I wasn't
all right,
too
let's
hyped
watch
walking
fucking
in
movie.
either, yeah. I've kind of just been ignoring Marvel movies after...
It ended at Endgame.
Besides Spider-Man, I've always enjoyed those.
That's more Sony than Marvel.
Yeah.
I was really anticipating this being more of on par with Love and Thunder, which, you know, Love and Thunder, for me, I had zero interest in it. I didn't want Natalie Portman to survive cancer. I didn't want any of... What?
It's the only time you're rooting for cancer.
Oh.
Fuck yeah! Stage 4? Boom!
Let's go!
Boom! Mjolnir? It doesn't cure cancer. That's not in the canon at all.
That's not how it
You
works.
can't just hammer someone and cures their cancer?
Here's the thing. There is a... What is her name? Who's the Jane Foster.
Jane.
There is a Jane Foster Thor. There is that comic. It does exist. There is some continuity in this, and she does survive cancer. Use Mjolnir to do it. But I was just so bored of that movie.
Are you reviewing Love and Thunder right now?
We're talking about our thoughts going in. I thought this movie was going to be like that. I was really anticipating another Love and Thunder where, sure, there's things to appreciate about it, but it's just overweighted or just overshadowed by the fact that there's so much messaging in the movie. There's so much just extra out in the real world nonsense being dragged into the movie. Crappy acting, crappy characters, just everything bad. That is not what I mean. I'm really happy with what I came out of the theater having experienced.
Yeah, this movie seemed more of like not a complete standalone. You can't go into it not knowing anything, but it seemed more of, if you're on the lesser knowledge of the Marvel universe, you could still go in here and then get the story and get the script and still enjoy the movie, for sure.
I think almost you could, to expand on that even a little bit more, you could almost say that any one Marvel film, if you watch any other one Marvel film, you're probably in at least somewhat up to speed, or at least understand that there's some connections here to the different universes.
Yep, for sure.
I mean, so Guardians of the Galaxy 3, who do you think carried this movie? Like, was there an actor in this movie that really shone above the others?
Pratt did a really good job.
Yep, Chris Pratt, he did a good job. Rocket's story too. His whole kind of divulged into his backstory a little bit, and it was pretty interesting. Nothing revolutionary, but it was good. And yeah, no, I like what's his name? Bradley
Cooper?
Yeah,
Bradley Cooper
He
as
did a pretty
Rocket.
good job too.
Yeah, Bradley Cooper did a great job in this film.
I don't know. I think Vin Diesel as Groot was top tier.
He aced it.
He had
Yeah.
two different lines.
Talk
Right?
about perfecting an art, though. I mean, you've really perfected the art.
saying 3 words.
Like, you can't even do an impression of it. I am Groot. You can't even.
Nah, I mean,
You can't even. It's not even fair to even try. You know, it's just so.
It's his character.
It's
I don't
like-
think anyone else could play it.
Could you really?
I don't think you could AI that.
Could you really repaint the
No.
Mona Lisa? Could anyone repaint the Mona Lisa? Could anyone live up to this bar that he has set in this industry now?
I don't think so. I think he should get an Oscar for it, to be honest.
I Am Groot is going to go down as one of the most iconic moments in all of cinema.
Yeah, especially when he said it that one time.
Oh, and the other time?
That one.
Yeah.
Oh, man, he just
But he really meant it that one time.
that
though.
one time really. I gotta admit I was a little bit skeptical about this movie just because James Gunn makes me nervous. His movies are either a hit or a miss for me, and I'm not looking forward to any other projects he currently has on his docket. The Flash makes me super nervous because this is apparently the launching off point for James Gunn's DCU.
It's the Flash, yeah.
With the Flash. His roster of movies that we reviewed a few months ago does not excite me at all. Nothing in that looks like it'll be interesting to me, and the things I have seen make me incredibly nervous.
But with Guardians 3, in my opinion, I think it's the best of the 3. And I'm probably going to be an outlier on that.
I don't
'Cause
think,
I did not like 2. I thought it was pretty dumb. And 1 is just enjoyable, whatever. It's an introduction. It was still Marvel's kind of early days back in 2014.
I think the problem with 2, and feel free to jump in here if I'm wrong, but the problem with Guardians 2 was more the directing. I don't think the issue was the acting. I don't think the issue was the premise. And I think that I mentioned this to you earlier, Cody, that I think Guardians of the Galaxy 2 tackled some really big topics that, if done right, could have been something great. You know,
But it was stuck in a Marvel movie.
it was stuck in a Marvel movie, and I don't think it was well put. I don't think it was well put together. I don't think it was the best script, and I do think that the casting choice was probably pretty bad for
Ego?
Ego. Yeah, thank you.
Everyone loves Kurt Russell, but I didn't like him in that role.
What did you think of 2, Slim?
It's probably my least favorite of the 3. I think 1's still my favorite.
You think one's still your favorite?
But it's close. 3 was still pretty good.
It's the soundtrack.
One, yeah, the soundtrack. Yeah, absolutely. We got to address that. But before we do, I wanted to just say, Slim, when was the last time you watched Guardians 1?
Oh.
And I'm not calling you out. I'm just curious. When the last time?
when did it get released?
2014.
So probably
20.
16, 17. Then?
Okay.
So it's been
Been a while.
It's been a minute.
Do you think that this movie, again, we're not spoiling anything yet, but do you think this Guardians 3 is a movie that will have better stay time, more rewatch value than, say, Guardians 1? Like, do you think that you'll watch Guardians 3 in the
No.
future?
No,
Nope.
with everyone, Guardians 1 is kind of like just
One's a classic.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Kind of thing.
See, I don't agree. Guardians 1, there's definitely great moments in Guardians 1, and this isn't to take away from that.
Well, I'm saying that as number 3 is my favorite.
I that's what I'm saying. Number 3 is probably my favorite as well, and I'm saying that Guardians 3 has better rewatch value than the first one. Whenever I go back to watch the first one, which I haven't done since maybe 16, 17, 18 either.
I did a couple months ago.
I wound up skipping like the first
You did?
40 minutes of the film where they're
I
like
watched both of them.
you skip the first 40 minutes. You know who these characters are. You have already seen their
But
introduction.
isn't there some charm in that?
There's a
Going
little bit-
back and getting reintroduced
There
to
is.
characters.
Yeah, you think you know like how it goes and whatnot, and then you forget. Like some comes up.
'Cause I
while you
love when
watch it,
Rocket
and you're like,
Raccoon
oh
and
yeah,
Peter
that's
meet
right.
the first time, and they get tossed in jail, and he's like, "You can talk if I remember all this right." You know,
I'm not
You're a raccoon.
Yeah.
Not a freaking raccoon.
That's you, dumbass.
Yeah.
I'm not shitting on the first one. It's just I find myself not finding any value in the first half of that movie. All of the things I want to experience from a film, as far as like, you know, good character development, a good conclusion to a story, good acting, I get all of that in the last half of the movie and a lot less of it in the first half of the movie because the first half of the movie spends 10 minutes putting each character where they belong. And
It's an introduction to the Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah.
Right. That's my point. You don't need to see that again. There's no value in watching that again. You don't get you don't experience it again for the first time unless you haven't seen it for years.
Say that about any point of any movie. Then, like I've seen the whatever and whatever fight.
Yeah,
I want to see it again.
He brought this up on the way here from the theater, and it's I brought up like Harry Potter. It's like you don't need to watch any of the any first parts of the movie until he gets to Hogwarts.
Why not wait? Why not go watch the end of Seventh, where the big fight is for Hogwarts? You know all the other character development.
Right.
Yeah,
But
that's
there are little like nuances, and you're kind of like I've noticed this with video games, where like you're replaying one that you've already played, and you're just kind of skipping through the dialogue.
Oh,
and then
so you're just skipping dialogue.
you
over
get bored, and then you get bored of it right away.
Space,
but
space,
if you invest yourself into the story again from the beginning, then it's much more enjoyable playthrough or watch.
Yeah.
There are examples of movies where you can't get that same experience, and there are examples of movies where you get that experience every time. You know, Knight's Tale is one that we've talked about on this channel before, where you can watch a Knight's Tale and you'll watch it from the beginning to the end 1,000 times.
Which I have, yeah.
Exactly. But then there are movies where you'll do exactly what you just said, where you will skip a portion of it. You'll hit the fast forward. You'll
I have
just
never ever skipped forward in a movie.
You've never done that?
Never.
Not one time?
When it gets put on, it's on usually in the background, so that's why.
Nope.
I'm doing something
I'm
else.
doing something else, and I just kind of enjoy it for enjoying it. It's not like I'm not paying attention to it. It's like
Sure.
I'm also doing something.
But I think then you should you probably can empathize with the fact that there are people who do skip the nonsense.
You know they
if
do
there's-
make music. You could just have that in the background.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do sometimes.
It's
I don't know. I just when I put on a movie, I'm like gonna watch the movie. I don't just put it on in the background. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, Guardians 3. I liked it a lot more than the other Guardians because I was kind of just mid with them.
One thing about this Guardian that I think the reason this Guardians movie stood out to me so much was and I think it's because it's after Endgame. I think this movie capitalized on some of the problems that the characters felt in Endgame. You know, Gamora died in Infinity War. And,
What?
yeah.
Spoilers.
Well, it's been years. We give you 2 weeks. We give you 2 weeks if you
Not-
haven't seen it.
Not even that. We're giving you like
Minutes.
15 minutes.
That's all you
Hour
get.
ago. No, but there was a lot of emotional moments in this movie, and it started off really strong with these characters kind of gathered together, and the soundtrack hits deep with a really good song, and it sets the characters up with some emotional issues that they're immediately hit with at the beginning of this film.
Okay, we got to go into spoilers because it's just petering around.
Yeah,
It's
you're
like
gonna be
going
treading
into-
water over there, teasing the audience.
Yeah.
Well, we're about there. So if you want to hear our
It's
final
the best
thoughts on
thing
this, you'll have to.
since No Way Home.
If you want to hear our final thoughts on this, you'll have to stick around through the spoilers of it.
Too
But
bad. Deal with the spoilers.
You'll have to. Now, what I was kind of getting at with the.
I mean, it's not like you're spoiling Fight Club or anything.
No,
like-
it's
We don't talk.
It
about
was
that.
him the entire time. What?
it's a Marvel movie. Whoa,
You know,
my
Bruce
brain.
Willis was dead the entire movie.
I know, right? Oh man.
Younger people don't even know what we're talking about. For that.
Talking about movies that came out before the turn of the millennium.
Yeah.
The soundtrack. The soundtrack in the first movie.
Fire.
It was absolute fire. I know, like Pandora had a playlist for Guardians of the Galaxy that was just that, plus like 13, 15 more. Right? It was a huge playlist. Slim, you had that on repeat every time we were hanging out. The Guardians playlist on your Pandora.
Did I?
Yes,
Oh,
Was that something I
is
did?
that something I did?
you
Okay.
did. Absolutely.
Nice.
I was drunk, right?
Look at me go.
Ooh-wee.
I got good taste then.
Yeah, you did.
Did.
Not
Past
anymore.
tense. Past tense. But I would say that the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, if we were going to rate the soundtracks, I would go 1, 2, 3. I think this
I don't
one
even really remember a lot of two,
I
but
don't
probably
remember
the
twos
same
either.
thing because there's only like, well, yeah, there's only like 3 songs maybe that I recognize in this, but they were all good. They fit well enough, but yeah, I don't know.
As far as the first one goes, I mean,
But it did have one of my favorite. I would say the way this movie opens with an acoustic version of Creep is probably top tier.
That was
I fucking
amazing.
love that song.
I was hooked at that moment. That was actually the moment that set me up because, Marvel doesn't play with a lot of really deep, artsy music.
No.
They really don't touch that stuff. If it's not bubbly, crappy nonsense, they don't want it.
I think James Gunn was the first one to be like, hey, we're going to put in these like really poppy kind of songs into the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then from Guardians, they just started doing that in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Thor or Ragnarok.
They did that a
shit.
lot.
Yeah.
They did that a lot in Thor Ragnarok. You're right. That's a good point. We are in the spoilers now. So we are going to be hitting spoilers. If we weren't clear on that, if you do not want to know any of the spoilers, this is your opportunity to tune out.
3, 2, 1. They did Adam Warlock dirty, and that's the thing that pisses me off about this
They
movie.
sure did.
They did. I thought they
I was hoping for so much more.
I was too. Honestly, the way they played that character was just.
It's the complete opposite of how he should have been played.
Mm-hmm.
This just made him into like a dumb child bounty hunter.
Basically, the go destroy that. The point, go break that. And he's like, okay.
They should have introduced him before the Infinity War,
Yep.
because he's a major part in it. He's like the second most important person in the saga.
Can we take a second to explain this character for people who aren't aware of?
Adam Warlock is like the pinnacle of humanity.
He's like the top tier. He's the
Yeah.
goat.
He's space Jesus.
That's something people can like. That's something people can envision.
Just imagine Jesus and put him in space.
And that's him.
That's him.
Supposed to be him.
Well,
Not in this fucking movie.
I didn't. Yeah, every time he was on the
He
screen.
doesn't even need to be in the movie.
No, he doesn't. But every time he was on the film, I was expecting something other than what I got. I was expecting literally the opposite of how he
It
would
would have
react.
improved the movie if they just made his character like some lieutenant in that guy's army, and he was just like continuously following the Guardians and like being roadblocks here and there.
So
I mean, yeah, he kind of, because he made the gold people, I forget their fucking name, the evolutionary, made
Yeah.
the gold people, and so he's kind of set out to be like, hey, I need this fucking raccoon.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just...
Yeah,
didn't
They
work.
shouldn't have used his name. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Oh, it
use
should have just
somewhere
been a
else.
random...
Exactly.
random
just some
bounty hunter.
Big, cool-looking lieutenant like Thanos had in Endgame. Like those two guys. It's like,
Right.
that's cool. Just make it some... You don't need a big backstory for this lieutenant guy. Just make him
No.
BA and hunt down your guys.
The premise of this movie was throughout the film, the main antagonist for this film was trying to get his hands on Rocket, and
To create the ultimate...
No, wrong. He was trying to make the best, perfect society. And the problem he kept having is they didn't have any creativity.
right,
Right.
And Rocket was the only one who had it, so he was trying to get his brain
exactly.
to put that
Brains.
genome in people.
And so Rocket was
people?
they were attacked at the beginning of the
Things.
film,
Chimeras.
and they were attacked at the beginning of the film, and Rocket's out of commission for most of the
Instantly.
most of the film.
He just gets knocked out right away.
Yeah, I'd say he's not a player in the movie for like hour 45,
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
2
Yeah.
hours.
Out of a 2.5-hour movie runtime, which it does feel like a long film.
It does.
That does. I mean, there's definitely a lot in this movie that doesn't need to be there. It
Because
definitely
the
had
third
a long
act
runtime.
is like 2 hours long.
Yeah, it's
the
a
third
lot.
act is most of the movie.
It's long, but yeah, Rocket Raccoon. If you're a big fan of Rocket, he's out of commission for most of the film.
But,
But
that's where all
the
his
movie-
backstory comes in. 'cause
Yeah, the
it's talking
movie's
about his
mostly
past.
about him too. though.
Yeah, but it's not like him. It's different. It's not like he's playing the role. It's all narrations about and flashbacks about his past.
Yeah.
The vast majority of the time where he's out of commission. Now the rest of the movie seems to focus around Peter Quill and kind of like his dealing with loss, which has been
Kinda, but it's mostly about saving Rocket.
yeah. I mean the story, like the emotional aspects of the story, are focused around Quill
Family.
and Rocket. Yeah, which is fantastic. Those are the characters those are the characters I definitely want these films to be focused around. I don't.
Where the fuck did Peter Quill's mask and boots go?
Yeah, no kidding.
No rocket boots, no mask. He survived in space in the first movie. Was this explained in like the Christmas special that I didn't watch?
I watched a Christmas special, actually. I don't remember that.
There's a Christmas special for
There
real? I
is.
thought you were joking.
No, it's not bad, actually, either.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
actually
people
pretty
kinda like it.
decent.
Isn't it mostly just Drax and
Basically.
Mantis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, isn't Quill part god too? Like, isn't he?
He's like celestial.
Yeah,
he's
he's
like
a
half
celestial.
celestial.
he's supposed to be cool out in space. He's supposed to be like good. It's really funny. Like his face all puffs up and.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. So there's a moment in this film at the end of it where Groot says, "I love you guys."
Yeah.
Were we speaking Groot? Were we understanding Groot? Was that line "I am Groot"? But we as the audience had.
I choose to interpret it that way now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Me too.
So
I wanted someone to say, because the reason I interpreted it that way is because no one said, did he just fucking speak English? Like,
Yeah.
no one addresses it at all.
no, and so that's why I'm like,
We all understand Groot.
everyone in the
I've been
audience.
seeing this motherfucker for like 3 movies.
Yeah. If Gamora could figure it out in one
Didn't
film.
He said something in the first one like that, though, didn't he?
He
he's
said-
like
he
surrounded
said,
him.
"We are
Are
Groot."
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's actually an interesting point. Were we learning Groot? Were we learning it in that moment?
Took a class. It was elective.
Did he say we are Groot, or did we learn Groot? Like, that's interesting.
If you read the subtitles, it says "I am Groot," but we understood it as "We are Groot."
That's canon.
Everyone else is watching an entirely different film, but we have the subtitles on in our brain because we learned a new language. If you like dogs, there's an
So
awesome dog in
funny.
this. There's an awesome dog in this film. It's so damn funny.
freaking funny. I loved it every time. Like, I am not a bad like the guy is like his owner. I don't know if it's his owner, but
No, it's not Cosmo.
he's like Cosmo's there, and the dog from the astronaut from Russia they sent up. They has a whole backstory, but
Yeah,
he's like doing all this stuff. I forget what he did, but he called him a bad dog.
yeah. So he's so they're practicing with Yondu's horn.
Oh, that's right.
right.
So
Yeah,
Yondu's
yeah.
horn controls his arrow that he flies all over the place. I mean, if you've seen the other movies, you know exactly what we're talking
Yep.
about. And he's practicing with it, and he's not doing great.
I don't remember the guy's name, but it's
No, me
James
neither.
Gunn's brother.
That's who the.
The actor is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what
He does
the
a good job too.
Yeah, I like him and stuff.
But yeah, he doesn't do a good job. And then Cosmo has like telekinesis, so he uses a rock. And then
Sean Gunn as Kreglin. Sean Gunn is the actor.
Kraglin?
Who,
Have they ever said his name in any of the movies?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
Every time they refer to him,
But anyway, yeah.
appropriately grammatically.
so the dog hits everything with these targets with a rock.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "You're showing off. That's telekinesis. I could do that too. You know what? You're a bad dog." And the dog goes, take that back. And throughout the whole movie, they'll come back to him. And he said, "I was a bad dog. Take that
I
back."
keep cutting back to it. It's so damn funny. It is so. I mean, this movie does have some humor in it, but one of the criticisms I heard of this film was it tries to go too deep and too funny at the same time. I didn't get that at all.
I didn't get that either.
I didn't get the funny. I mean, there were some jokes that just didn't land with
for
me.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was a good mix.
Yeah.
I
It
did-
seemed like in our theater anyway, it's like a lot of them didn't really hit.
No, I mean, in our local theater, I mean, you had some people who were like talking during the film at certain moments. They would shout something out, or they were really excited when,
That one motherfucker really thought it was Red Skull.
yeah.
Did you hear that?
I
No, I
heard
didn't.
that. There was a,
There's a kid in the back, like as they're taking Evolutionary's like mask off or whatever. He's like Red Skull. It's like,
yeah, because he looks so damn ugly.
I was.
Yeah, he was all beat
I was
up
more
from
thinking of
Raccoon
Face
messed
Off.
his face up when he escaped.
Yep.
They took his face off.
Yeah,
No
we
one
had
gets that
some
reference.
really dumb people in the crowd on this one. If you're listening to this, you know who you are. You know.
Everyone's got a tart in the family. If you can't name them,
Well,
it's you.
Actually, someone someone might actually think I'm referring to them that I'm not. So I should probably correct. It's not you.
Yeah, it's you, Ben.
It's-
Just call someone out randomly.
Damn you, Ben! Quit talking during movies. You know who you are. Honestly, I really liked this film quite a bit. There was a lot to latch on here to. There was really good story. There was amazing acting, I thought.
They did put Nathan Fillion in it, so that's cool.
That's who I was talking about. The Nathan Fillion. He showed up. He was in the first 15, 20 minutes of the film.
Yeah, something like that.
And
that whole fucking scene just kind of grossed me out.
It did me too.
It's a
What's he?
organic spaceship.
Yeah, the entire
yeah.
spaceship
Yeah,
is
they're
made
cutting into it and stuff, and I'm like, damn.
And they were walking around on him like,
Yeah.
oh, gross.
There's
The
a bunch
sound.
of goo all over the place and a bunch of. You knew what you were looking at,
the
but
human
no one wanted to
body's
say
disgusting.
We all just thought it.
it. Yeah, there's a portion of this film that's kind of gross in that aspect. I mean, it's not anything you can't look past, but
Yeah.
you're thinking of it the whole time. It's unavoidable. And especially when the actors have to like interact with the goo, and the actors are like, ugh.
Yeah, they just
Now
put their
we're like-
hands in mucus.
Yeah, we hope that's what it was.
Does it just come off instantly?
Yeah.
But those parts of the movie were where the comedy actually shined. Because when Nathan was on the screen, I actually did find myself like smiling, laughing, finding some humor in the film. But almost everything outside of that didn't. I mean, there were some jokes that made me smile. I mean, I definitely found some funny moments in this film, but
Yeah, the only time I kind of really LOL'd was the whole car thing.
yeah,
That was pretty
Where
good.
Gamora can't figure out how to get
that
in the
and
car.
The dog always made me chuckle.
Nebula,
Who did I say?
Gamora.
Oh, whatever. They're
Yeah.
sisters. Close enough.
Same thing.
One's green, one's blue. Who cares?
Yeah, there's like 6 of her now. She's died so many times, keeps coming
I
back.
can't tell the difference anymore.
So,
But
yeah,
otherwise, it wasn't really that funny of a movie.
no, it
It
was
was more darker.
definitely
Yeah,
darker.
I was really.
I mean, if you're in
Messed
PETA,
up.
you should definitely watch this movie.
Oh my gosh, Peter will have a heyday with this film.
Yeah.
They already are. Even though it's CGI critters, they're getting all up in Marvel's ass about animal cruelty in movies.
They should really be like, see this film, and they see this film. They should really be promoting the
No
shit out of
kidding.
this film.
See how messed up.
There's
You know.
there's a lot of experimentation on animals in cages in this film.
Really
Like,
messed
I already
up.
knew Rocket's whole backstory, but still, when the shit went down, I was like, fuck, man.
That sucked. Yeah, that was hard to watch, man. That was dark and deep. Dude, I loved this film so much, actually.
It was dark. I loved it. Good
Well,
film.
Hey,
Do you
man, you're
think-
taking my thing.
Do you think that? Yeah. Do you think that this? Do you think this could be a staple for Marvel going forward? Do you think?
No, this is a one and done.
You,
Yep.
No, I mean I'm not talking about this movie, this plot. I'm talking about the themes of this
darker
movie, the
themes?
darker themes of the movie.
Nope.
You don't think that if
Nope.
this became more standardized in Marvel films, it could repair Marvel?
It could, but you got to get rid of the writers' room and let directors do their own thing, which Disney doesn't do.
Right.
They cast directors. They don't have creative people come on and be like, "Hey, I want to do this with the movie." It's just buy the book, same shit. I mean, we saw the fucking trailer to Miss Marvel. It's like, or the Marvels.
Oh, that's
terrible.
So
It's gonna suck so
bad.
much ass.
yeah, there was.
And I turned to you and I was like, "We might have to see this to review it."
I said, I bet, man, the
Yeah, see
so the
how bad it
Marvels,
is.
the Marvels movie trailer was one of the trailers that we saw at the very beginning of this film, and if you haven't seen it yet and you want to just face palm
Roll
so
your
hard
eyes.
that you have to skip a day at work, then watch the trailer for this. It is the most cringe nonsense.
There's one chick that was digging it in the audience.
I know, what the fuck? These people are insane. The fact that there's any audience for some of this stuff at all blows my mind.
It's not. It used to be Captain Marvel 2, but they had to switch it because no one fucking likes Captain Marvel.
Yeah, no one would go watch that.
Yeah.
It's been delayed 5 times.
Did you hear that news about
The movie was terrible.
the actress Amber Heard? Amber Heard left Hollywood this week. There
Who?
was some news reported about
No,
Amber
Brie
Heard.
Larson.
No, Amber Heard.
Brie Larson.
Amber Heard's Johnny Depp's ex-wife.
That's what I'm saying. Amber Heard.
I saw a
Left
headline that
Hollywood.
was Brie Olsen, or Larson that did.
She's got 3 movies on the docket right now. I'm pretty sure it's not her.
I don't fucking know. Who cares about these bitches?
Yeah, you're right. I don't want to. I mean, here's the thing. If you're listening to this and you want us to do a review of the Marvels when it comes out because you're curious
Please
whether it's worth
don't.
seeing,
Please say no.
put it in the comments and let us know. If you request it, if you demand it, we'll suffer through it for you.
Yeah.
I'll
cry
read the
whole
spark
time.
notes.
Yeah, read the Spark Notes. Just cheat. Have an AI bot write your synopsis or write your
ask
review.
GBT.
ChatGPT, write the script for this one so we don't get to watch it.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that's what Marvel already does.
Oh my gosh, there's almost no way AI could be worse than what they currently put out.
But there was a really cool scene in this movie, and it's always a hallway fight. Everyone loves a
that
hallway
was
fight.
sweet.
That hallway fight was awesome.
It was dope.
That was really good. Look forward to that if you're gonna go see this film in theaters.
I mean,
Look
it
forward
takes
to that.
place an hour and 15 minutes into it, or 2 hours and
I was
15
going to
minutes
say
into
2
it.
hours and
Sure.
15 minutes into it.
But I mean, that was really great.
I don't know. It's still like a meh movie to me. It's not great in any way, I think. It's my favorite of the Guardians. But I kind of spoiled myself with the game that came out in like 2021. It was just, the story is so much better than anything Marvel's putting out for the Guardians.
Right. It seems like there's other mediums that are taking
Characters are
time
so
from
much better. Drax is one of the best characters in the game, and he's just a bumbling fucking idiot in these movies.
Right. There's a lot of mediums that are taking attention away from Hollywood right now. I mean, there's television shows that are doing great. There's other industries that are picking up. You have
Games
anime,
are telling better stories than
video
Hollywood
game-
can.
Video games, anime, certain comics new comic book creations are coming out. You have
Mm-hmm.
YouTube that's taking the place of a lot of Hollywood with certain things you could find on there. Streaming platforms are hit or miss. Sometimes you find something good on them, but yeah, Hollywood is.
The thing that surprised me the most, though, is kind of getting a little excited for The Flash because the trailer was there.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. I have mixed feelings about The Flash. I watched the same trailer you did, and
Well, yeah, you were right next to me.
I gotta tell you, I feel sort of the same way. That trailer made me a little hyped for it, but I mean, you have companies that will take footage and just make an amazing trailer, and then you get completely blindsided by movies. I'm not capable of being blindsided by The Flash. It's not going to be able to impress or disappoint me because
I'm not even that big of a Michael Keaton Batman fan because
No.
I haven't seen the original. I've seen Batman
Me neither.
Returns.
I like Michael Keaton plenty, and obviously, I mean, for people who do deep dive into Michael Keaton's Batman universe, they all sing his praises hard, right? Like,
89 is probably a lot of people's favorite Batman movie.
That's exactly what I'm saying too. It's like
That and Returns. A lot of people like Returns.
if they
This
didn't,
is a weird Christmas movie.
I would give this movie. I'd be a little less biased against this movie if Ezra Miller weren't involved. If they had any other Flash at all, anyone,
Yeah.
grab a regular Los Angeles hobo off the street, put him in the costume, give him no dialogue, hand him a beer, and I'm freaking in.
And he'll nail it.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to come back from choking a pregnant woman.
Choking that's like one of the lightest things he's done. Like,
Never mind the sex cult and terrorizing a Hawaiian town. And
this isn't the shit on Ezra Miller thing. But my criticism is more about the casting. I was like, the fact that
he sucked from the get-go.
yeah, the fact that they doubled down and said no, we're keeping Ezra Miller, that pisses me off. And
I think
that's
he's done with it after this movie.
I mean, yeah, but they didn't need him in this in the first place. Find a C-list actor. I mean, if the character is that small, if the role in this movie is that small, that irrelevant, and Ezra Miller's screen time's already been reduced that much, find a C-list actor, make him a new person in Hollywood, give him some shitty contract that he can, like, make his mint on and start his career, and put anyone else in this role. If it's that inconsequential that you can reduce Ezra Miller's screen time, redo the frickin' screen time, put someone else in.
They already reshot it like 6 times.
That's what I'm... So what's a
Make it
7th?
7.
It's like going to be the most expensive movie ever made because they keep reshooting it.
Honestly, I'm tossed... it's a toss-up. Do I go to this movie?
Yeah, we're going to have to go to it.
I hate this. Well, here's the thing.
this.
If we go to the movie, and it is the dumpster fire that we expect it to be, we can spread the word. You know, we could spread the word and let other people know that they don't need to see the
I
Flash.
would hate to sing its praises if it's good.
I think I could. I think I could sing its praises. I had positive things to say about Love and Thunder for for how much I hated that film. I had plenty of good things to say about it, and we'll tell you what we'll tell you the truth about The Flash. But honestly,
I do like the
Flash-
Snyderverse though, and he's part of the Snyderverse.
Right. My bar for the Flash is so damn low. It's so damn low. But
That means it'll be good, right?
well,
If you're expecting a 0 and you get a 1, you're
I'm
pretty
expecting
happy.
a negative 100.
It's like going to the bar and not expecting to pick up a woman, and some whale comes along, and you're just like,
Well,
I wasn't really expecting anything, but
but here we are.
You know, it's the size of the fish, right? That's how you know it was a good catch.
Yeah.
Final thoughts, and then we're gonna move into the war room.
Enjoyable. Kind of drags on. It didn't need to be 2.5 hours.
Sure did.
There's probably a longer cut out there.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
But-
every one of the scenes all the scenes that didn't need to be in it definitely felt like there was definitely a cut at the end and the beginning. There was definitely more to this film.
Yeah, I don't know. 7 for me.
7?
I might watch it again at some point.
Yep, I'm going to have to agree with that. It's probably a 7 for me as well.
So the audience reviews from Rotten Tomatoes. Before I throw mine out there, I just want to. We missed
Yeah,
the
this
we
is
didn't.
fucking insane.
Yeah, we did a quick look up on the Rotten Tomatoes for this film just to see what the audience was thinking about it. The audience score on Guardians of the Galaxy opening weekend is 95%.
That's high.
You know what's at 100? Godfather and shit like that.
Yeah.
This is 5% below it. This ain't even close to like the writing and excellent filmmaking as a
I
movie
think
like
The
that.
Dark Knight's at 95.
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
There's amazing films that are in like the 90th percentile. To be honest, I
You're
don't think
5 points away from being
a perfect,
a perfect
film.
movie.
It's a big 5%. It's a big 5%. for me.
That's a long.
The critic reviews are an 81%. So this is actually
It's
an
more accurate.
example of a movie that doesn't have that wide of a spread between the audience and the review and the critic reviews.
Right.
Sometimes it's very egregious where
Well,
you
the
have an
critics are
audience
gonna
score.
hate it because of Pratt. Critics don't like Pratt.
Yeah, you got. Honestly, Pratt was awesome in this film. It was in my opinion, the best part of this film. But my personal review on this, I do think this movie is worth seeing in theaters. It's definitely one of those movies that was made for theaters. It's definitely going to be a better and more.
Sometimes it seems like it was made for 3D.
It does feel like that too, but this is probably going to be one of the last Marvel films we will want to see in theaters and want to enjoy like that. So if you are listening to the channel and you're made it all this far and you want to know our final thoughts on this, this is a movie I think you should see in theaters. I do think you should check it out, and I would give this movie probably an 8. It's definitely better than Guardians of the Galaxy 1, and Guardians of the Galaxy 1 for me is also probably an 8, so I might even have to say
But it's definitely better.
that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is better than Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
But they rank the same.
I mean, I'm not factoring rewatch value. Like, I'm not factoring in the fact that in 4 years, maybe I'll be watching this movie again. That's what I'm considering. Because Guardians of the Galaxy 3 has almost no rewatch value for me.
So I gave 3 a 7. I'd give 1 like a 6.5, and then 2 is probably like a 4 or 5 for me. Because I do not like 2.
I would give 3 an 8. I'd give 1. All right, so I'm not allowed to have them be at the same score and have my argument make sense. So I will say
my whole philosophy.
Guardians 3, 8.5. Guardians 1,
8.4.
8. Guardians 2, I agree with you. It definitely is not. It's a below average film. I would say probably a 5.
Well, what's your favorite Marvel film? And what would you rank that?
We're probably gonna have to do a war room on that at some point.
Yeah, we could.
My favorite Marvel film is probably has to be No Way Home, and that might sound like a cheap answer, but it's the culmination of like 30 years of Spider-Man story, and it's acted
20,
perfect.
but okay.
And it's acted perfectly. The story's fantastic. The characters do a great job. I find almost no flaws in No Way Home.
Yeah, I wasn't really considering Spider-Man because it's kind of its own thing, but
Well, what do you think? Like, am I forced to choose between Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America movies?
no, it's just not a Sony product.
Okay. Well then,
I'd probably go like not Civil War, Winter Soldier.
yeah, I don't really enjoy the Captain America movies that much. Probably Iron Man 2.
2?
Why not
Over 1?
Yeah,
All right, well, yeah, we gotta
gonna have to do a
shelve
war review
that.
on that.
Kick him
That
out of
was
this right now.
Fucking retarded.
All right, guys. I hope you
Boo.
enjoyed that review. We are moving into the war room. Since Guardians of the Galaxy is a trilogy, staying on theme with that, we are doing trilogies for this episode of the war room. Segway.
Worked perfect. That was
Talking
good.
about segways. Okay. Slim, I'm going to need you to take point on this one
This
because
actually might go a while.
the Cody and I are going to fight on this one we're probably going to fight on this.
We're all
So-
gonna agree with bits that you have to say about yours.
I'm gonna sit over here in the corner and just enjoy this, aren't I?
Yep.
So I picked the Star Wars Episode 1, 2, and 3. Just between the soundtracks, a couple good fights with Maul, Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan, and then the second one, Vader versus Obi-Wan. There's some good fights, good character development. I know Episode 1 wasn't everyone's favorite, like the whole thing. But I think
a lot of politics.
yeah, I think growing up, this was like kind of our generation's 3 Star Wars movies.
If we had to
funny is
compare-
that was like this came out what 99? Yeah, so I'd have been 5 watching a movie about trade negotiations.
yeah,
And it was still on everyone's lunchbox and T-shirt,
yep.
and everyone got the Jar Jar Binks toy.
I block that out because it's not canon for me.
You mean Darth Jar Jar?
Yeah,
Darth
that's-
Jar Jar.
That's canon. The Sith Lord Jar
The
Jar.
Sith Jar Jar. The
Look that up. If you're watching this right now, look up
That theory is
Darth
so
Jar Jar's Sith
I hate
theory.
that theory.
It's hilarious.
I
actually.
hate that theory so
love
much.
it.
I had an in-depth 2-hour conversation with someone about this.
So
I
good.
hate it. I'm so over the Jar Jar.
Well, I don't think
Binks.
it's like headcanon for me, but it's an interesting read.
It's canon.
Well, I mean,
He's the real Dark Lord.
Everyone will believe it's canon if you go watch the video I watched.
so Slim. Not only does your position maintain that it's the best, it's one of the better trilogies that exist, but it's also the best among the 3 Star Wars trilogy sets that currently exist. Which, being number 1
Yes.
above The Force Awakens, the
sequel.
We don't even know the
trilogies,
3 because they're that bad.
Those,
Yeah.
they
I
don't.
mean,
They never happen.
the sequel trilogies are literally
But they're making
cringe
another trilogy
nightmare
with
fuel.
yeah, they're not that good.
And so it's a very easy fight to win that one. Why did you choose this one over the original trilogy?
And this might sound so bad, especially if like a couple older generation, which there aren't in our crowd, I don't think. But I went and rewatched them. I did not enjoy my time rewatching the older ones.
I concur.
I thought the acting was not good between older Ben. So bad. I just thought the acting just was not
I
good.
would say though, Empire Strikes Back though is one of the top when it
I
comes
think
to
that's
Star
an
Wars
amazing
movies.
movie. Yes, that one's amazing, but I don't know. I just don't think they hold up like people think they do.
I think 6 sucks.
I think people look back on it and get nostalgia rather than this is an objectively good movie.
I think that's actually a really well thought out
it was
criticism.
a pioneer for the
It
sci-fi
was.
movies.
And you can hold that in esteem and you can remember that and have nostalgia with it, but you can't
Right. It's like
objectively
everyone
look
says.
at it and say this is a
By the
good-
time-
It's like everyone says Nirvana was like a pioneer of their kind of music. I'm like, yeah, but I still fucking hate Nirvana.
Yeah.
Yeah. So by the time we're retired and old and we're like in the grave, how many Death Stars do you think there will have been? Because
What's there like 4 now?
we're on 3.
You got 1, 2, 3. It was the whole planet. Was the third one.
Yep.
And then in number 9, they made all the Star Destroyers basically
All of
Death
them.
Stars. Yeah.
All
They
of
all
this-
had that planet destroying, which
Somehow.
is like the most retarded thing I've ever
How
So
heard.
would
we're
it-
in the triple digits for Death Stars.
How
right
would
now.
how
We're
would
in the
that have enough
thousands.
energy?
We're in the we're in the quadruple.
But there's not a single original thought when it comes to Disney Star Wars. At
No, it
all.
was so bad.
Even female Yoda from The Force Awakens was super
You mean
weird.
butthole eyes?
But butthole eyes. Oh my god!
You can't unsee it.
You can't unsee it.
But I would agree with Slim. I like the prequels better than any of the other movies. And episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, is my favorite Star
Same
Wars
here.
movie.
Should we tell the story of when we went to see that?
Dude, that was baller.
That was okay. I'm just gonna take a
Episode
minute
3?
and just run on
Yeah,
this.
we saw it like opening night.
Revenge of the Sith, opening night,
This is how long we've been friends.
2005. There's in our town there was a tornado and a hailstorm the same day.
Welcome to North Dakota, everybody.
We were stuck. We had planned to see We had planned to see this, and this was a historic event. This was the conclusion of the Star Wars saga for
the Star Wars
everyone,
saga.
every generation at the time.
And they dug up its grave.
And then Revenge of the Sith comes out in our local
Pissed at it.
theater. We get tickets to the Ultra Screen, the biggest theater we have access to, the best theater we have access to, and we're stuck in the basement 2 hours before the movie is about to start. And there's a tornado warning, and we're stuck in the basement. There's a hailstorm warning. We have friends there who have a local farm nearby, and their cows are dying from the hail.
They've been swept up like it's fucking
Twister. So we go. So we're sitting there, and we all give up hope that we're gonna go see this film.
Fuck your cows, let's go.
And then the storm clears just in time. We drop off our friends at their farm so they can repair the cow damage.
See, I forgot
Cow
that
damage.
I forgot that this was the same night.
It is the same night. I have a very good memory of this.
I don't.
We were playing Nintendo.
Lot of drugs.
We were playing GameCube. We were playing GameCube in my basement. That was where. And then we get to town, and there's a line for our showing that goes outside of the theater when they're taking tickets. The line goes outside the theater, and there are people dressed to the nines in costumes. And it's amazing. This is culture. This is an entire society deciding that this is the greatest moment of all time. This is an entire society that has just agreed to this, and they're all in. We see Revenge of the Sith, and honestly, it is one of the best memories of my childhood. I loved that film.
Yeah, the opening when it's like right after you got the crawl, the beginning crawl. You see the space battle, and it's kind of quiet,
Yeah.
distant bangs, and then the 2 starships come in, just
Yeah.
it's like
Takes you
awesome.
into one of the most important galactic fights in the entire Clone Wars.
Yep.
Clone Wars.
God, that was good. I watched the Clone Wars quite a bit too.
So
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
Now
Yeah.
looking back though, it's not that great, but I watched it so many fucking times.
And we're not just like saying that the prequel trilogy has
Boba
no
Fett.
flaws or anything like that.
Jango Fett was
Obviously,
the shit.
there's plenty of flaws in the original trilogy, but one thing I will say about this, and this is a hot take of mine for Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Episode 1, The Phantom Menace has one of the best fights,
Oh yeah.
has one of the best choreographed, directed fights in all of cinema.
Cinema.
And I would put
history.
this up against even like Helm's Deep. I'm referring to...
What? Bitch, it took him like 4 months to shoot and nights only.
Yeah. What I'm talking about is you have the Gungans fighting the droid army. You have...
I fucking hate Gungans.
Right. Everyone does,
I
but
like the droids more.
I wish the droids had
They
won.
got more personality.
Yep. But then you had Darth Maul versus Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn.
With the best score ever.
You had them taking the capital city, so that you had them sieging the capital city.
Oh yeah,
And you had the Anakin Skywalker like in space fighting the Trade Federation ships. You had all 4 of those combats being choreographed and timed perfectly, well acted, well choreographed, well directed. I
Cheers
think
probably goes out to the editor to editing all those at once.
it's fantastic. It's fantastic. I mean, for everything I love about Helm's Deep, again, I'm not saying any criticisms against Helm's Deep at all, but this was something that was special, and I do think that it's completely missed because of all the other issues in The Phantom Menace. The 30 minutes of pod racing did not need to freaking exist, and I will fight you. I'll fight you. The pod racing did not need to be there at all, and it definitely...
That's pod racing.
30 minutes. It's literally 30 minutes
Is
of
it
pod
really?
racing. It's 3 10-minute scenes.
See, we were talking about skipping through movies or whatever. I basically just skipped to the last, the climax of the movie.
30 minutes of pod racing.
That's
just-
appropriate. I'm
and it's
okay with
there.
that.
It's freaking terrible. That's the worst thing of the entire original prequel trilogy for me.
Phantom Menace came out with the best Jedi ever, Qui-Gon.
And killed him
you died
immediately.
too soon.
They did him dirty too.
They did him so dirty.
He's my favorite.
We should probably jump into the other two if we're gonna have any time to talk about this.
Just
No, we
vote for
can go
me.
on.
You want to keep going? Because
Well, I know. I mean,
I've got
we're
some
not in a
stuff-
rush.
I've got some stuff to talk about with Star Wars. I want to keep I could keep going with Star Wars.
Well, I thought you guys had an argument about your two movies.
We do, but what? So
I don't have an argument against his. I think it's just dumb.
so Slim.
How do you think? What is So we're introduced to Vader and whatnot in the OTs.
Yep.
How do you guys think about his upbringing and becoming Vader?
I think it was well done. I
It's
I think-
explored way more if you go watch the animated series. It makes
yeah.
a lot more
That is
sense.
true.
You can
He-
see him
he
slowly doing what he needs to do as a commander to win the war, and you could see
And
stuff
save
happening.
as much people as he can,
Yep.
but then
And then like they kind of say, well, you guys don't. Jedi aren't going to do what needs to be done to win a war. You guys aren't generals. You're peacekeepers. And he's like, no, I agree with you. He's like has a conversation with actually General Tarkin at the time.
Tarkin is a really, really good unexplored character.
Yeah, they explore him not that much, but they do in that series, and then they also explore a bit in the Bad Batch. He's in that towards
And-
the end,
I'm-
and they're exploring him as there as well. He does really good, the voice actor.
I'm referring to like the original comics, like the Star Wars comics that expand on Tarkin have a great continuity, amazing story, and a really good character for him. The issue I have with the latest Star Wars content, like one big issue I have with it, is the prophecy. The prophecy from the prequel trilogy matters not at all. And honestly, this is a big issue I have with all the
Yeah,
Disney,
right.
with all the Disney Star Wars content. So think of like everything post Order 66, everything after Order 66. You have balance to the Force, insofar that you have Yoda, and you have Darth Sidious.
Yep.
You have Darth Vader, and you have Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yep.
And they are literally fighting to a draw. That's their last combats against each other. They literally fight to a draw.
Yep.
So the Force is balanced. And then you have Luke and Leia, who could literally go either way, and they have not been trained into the Force until The New Hope. And then you have all the way through to Return of the Jedi, or Episode 6, when Luke is like, I have darkness in me, but I have found peace and balance between both.
that's dirty.
And everything after that completely erases the idea that there was ever a need for balance in the Force in the first
Yep.
place.
I think the prophecy refers to Cal Kestis.
Who the is Cal Kestis?
Hey, that's from the Jedi Fallen Order, the game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Survivor, which is awesome, and I finished it.
Is it good?
It's pretty good.
I'm watching a playthrough right now, so don't spoil anything too big because I want to see a story.
If you're playing it, focus on the story for the most part, and then go do side shit afterwards. Otherwise, it gets really tedious with all platforming.
Heard that. Yeah, I'm just watching it for the story of Cal because it's interesting to me.
It's pretty good, and then people get dumb towards the end, but
I think
and he's ginger, so another point in my book.
yeah, you just get all the points. This is the first week you're gonna lose a war room.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, huh? You're gonna lose
Says who?
the votes. This is a
The people don't matter.
They matter. Comment.
vote
Please
doesn't
comment.
count.
Please comment. Vote. Comment.
This isn't
Comment.
a democracy. It's
Please comment.
We're
Vote.
talking about the
Cody's show
sitcom
now.
one or the trilogy
sitcom
one? Okay.
You lost the sitcom one.
Yeah, probably.
Slim, credit goes to you. The Office was
I
actually the winner in that poll.
Did I get 2 votes?
You got 4.
What?
You got 5.
Wow,
if I'm
you
counting
guys-
from if I'm counting votes from every platform we put the poll up on.
And you probably get
you
mine
won.
too. I think it.
You
yeah,
guys surprised. You
probably is.
guys surprised me. More interactive with that stuff now. I love it.
Cody, I think you should talk about your choice, and then we'll show. I'll be able to show everyone how much better my choice is.
Nah,
than
I
yours.
think you should go first. Mine, because yours is like, yeah, it's this, and then you got nothing to say about it. Well, I have to explain 3 separate movies that don't interconnect at all.
All right.
Except for one thing.
All right, fine, I will. My trilogy choice was Blade, Wesley Snipes' Blade. I loved
Which
this.
blows my mind.
I love this trilogy set.
It's okay.
It's awesome. It's an amazing fight. It's amazing fight sequences, and for the 90s and early 2000s, it actually does a really damn good job of like doing CGI and doing all the combat scenes. The actors in Blade 2 were awesome, and the story in Blade 2 was fantastic, especially the fact that there was
Blade 2 is pretty.
Blade 2 is awesome.
Great.
I think there's some fair criticism about Blade Trilogy. Trilogy?
Yeah.
Blade Trilogy. But
Gotta go. He's having a stroke.
yeah, I am having. Blade Trinity had some reasonable criticisms that could be levied towards it, but the characters they chose, like Hannibal King, was actually awesome, and I think Ryan Reynolds was a good choice for that. I think Blade Trinity actually is kind of shit on more than it deserves.
It's surprising how much shit he is in.
Yeah, he's in everything. I have one hot take that I think Ryan Reynolds would make a really good Constantine if in an expanded.
He's played
DC
enough
universe.
superheroes.
Yeah, I want him to do more successful ones though. He hasn't played that many successful ones.
Just the one, really.
Yeah, but the Blade trilogy and Wesley Snipes, I think this was awesome. I think this put Wesley Snipes in a really good place in Hollywood. In a good enough place, obviously, to cheat on his taxes. And
Right, I
all
was
that
gonna
shit.
say.
But I think the fact that Wesley Snipes is pretty much out of Hollywood right now. I mean, he's not in anything.
Yeah, he's pretty much blacklisted.
And I think that sucks because I do think he's a great actor, and I do think
It's because he's black.
and Wesley and Snipey. But the guy we have for the new Blade content,
He's good. He's a really good actor.
I think the new Blade stuff is doomed. I think the new Blade stuff
Well, yeah,
is doomed.
it's in Disney Marvel. Of course, it's doomed.
I'm not convinced that actor is going to hold any water. What's he accredited to? What's he? What
that
is he
movie
good for?
and that movie,
And
he was in that one Detective,
Oh, he was.
True Detective.
Wow.
I think in the shitty season.
You know, people can't see what you're referencing, right? Like,
Yeah,
you're
I
just
know.
saying that movie and
'Cause
that.
I
movie.
didn't even know what I was referencing.
Okay, fine. That's what I'm saying. He sucks. He's the worst. He's not going to be good. Maybe we can hope, but I don't think it's going to be a great. I don't think it's going to
No,
be great.
because if you make a Blade movie, it's got to be fucking rated R.
Yeah, it does, and that's another reason why I think these movies were so great. The other trilogies that I had to compare it up against were like Pirates of the Caribbean, which I don't care for that much. I don't think Pirates of the Caribbean is a movie series I'm ever going to rewatch.
I know exactly what you're about to say.
We should have prefaced this by saying that
there were
This
trilogies that were off limits.
One trilogy was
off limits, and it's The Lord of the Rings because it's goated. You can't beat it.
Well, The Dark Knight.
We had all picked it, and we'd be like, "Yes, I think the same way as you do."
Yes.
Episode over.
Yep. The
The
Lord of the
extended
Rings
versions, you cannot go back to watching the theatrical.
You
cuts.
can't. The Lord of the Rings trilogy was off limits for this topic. So if you're in the comments wondering why that wasn't chosen, or any of your other favorite trilogies, it's because
They weren't as
smarter.
good.
We're smarter and we know better.
Yep.
But,
There's a reason we're doing this and not you.
we were trying to pick trilogies that were a little bit outside of just normie selection.
I wasn't.
Obviously there's the Dark Knight. Obviously there's
Yeah, the Dark Knight trilogy.
the Dark Knight trilogy, Pirates of the
I
Caribbean.
thought you were gonna pick that for
original
sure.
trilogy.
Oh yeah,
There's other trilogies that exist out there. I tried to
Spider-Man
pick something that I
trilogy.
really like. Here's the thing: I rewatch Blade. Like the Blade movies I've seen, I see them probably once a year, maybe more.
I haven't seen them in like 15 years.
Then how would you know if they're good or not?
Cause
Just cause.
yeah,
Take that. All right,
am I
man.
supposed to watch all your shit before you talk about it?
You know what? Now let's go to your choice so I can dump on your ideas, which I was planning to the whole time anyway.
Anyway, yeah.
My trilogy is
I
a
can't
trilogy.
believe you chose this.
My
over the other
trilogy
options
is
you
a
had available to
trilogy
you.
that people don't even know is a trilogy.
It's so profound. It loops right back around to being stupid.
It's the Cornetto trilogy with Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and At World's End.
Oh my god.
And the only thing interconnecting between the three is the Cornetto. It's an ice cream bar. But Shaun of the Dead is one of the best zombie movies
Shaun of the Dead's
ever.
so good, yeah.
It's hilarious. Great writing, and they even stepped it up a bit with Hot Fuzz. I think is one of the best screenplays ever.
I'm gonna use an argument that you have made before as a counter to the Shaun of the Dead being a great zombie movie. No, it fucking isn't.
How dare you use my own words?
That's a good argument.
By the standard of zombie movies,
Name
it's not
other
even-
zombie movies that are better.
28 Days Later.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
There you. It
That's
fucking
one. I said it's one of the best.
28 weeks later.
I've probably seen that one more than 28 Days.
I
said it was one of the best.
I thought you said it was the best.
No, he said it was one of the best.
Now you're just putting words in my mouth.
I feel like you guys are gaslighting me. But anyway.
We probably could be.
Yeah, it makes
Fuck
sense.
you. I try to.
Anyway, the Cornetto ice cream shop.
Yeah, and then Hot Fuzz is like it's like a take on like older cop movies and whatnot, and it's I can't really put it into words. It's
Amazing.
parody of like cop movies and whatnot
Yeah.
but it takes itself a little bit more seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one of the best fucking screenplays. Every sentence basically has a payoff in it. It's insane. And then At World's End is the weakest of the three, but it also is a very strong script and acting, because you can't really go wrong with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost in the same together. They're just awesome.
All right. Martin Freeman is in Hot Fuzz. I like Martin.
He's also in At World's End,
I like him.
and he's actually in Shaun of the Dead too.
Simon Pegg is just they're not. First off, there's no. This is infuriating. These aren't even that freaking funny. Like, there's so
They're
many.
fucking hilarious.
They're literally not. Like, the jokes in them are
Eat a
so
dick.
damn dry. All of the jokes are dry.
What, you don't like Brits?
Well,
You're just excluding like a
Way
good
off.
majority of our audience.
we have a huge British audience. What the? No, we
Not
don't.
at this rate.
Not if you keep
Not if
alienating
keep
them. Talks.
bashing British people.
No, I don't think these movies are that funny. I really don't. But I mean, if you attack them individually, they're not even the best in their genre. Like, they're not even the best in their categories. But even if you wrap them all together as a standalone
What's that supposed to mean? So the Blade movies are the best vampire hunting movies? Because there are only like 3 of them.
What about Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer?
Okay, that's better.
Don't
than
diss that movie.
No, it is. You don't even believe that. You don't even. I don't even think you've seen it.
It was a fun movie.
You saw it?
Yeah.
Oh man.
A couple times. I actually owned it at one point.
I would rather watch
What a niche
Abraham
movie.
Lincoln Vampire Slayer than any of the other movies you've listed off.
Okay, that's
here.
just heresy. These will go down in movie Hall of Fame. Blade will not.
They literally won't. As soon as the Blade
I think they're already
trailer-
there. They got like a toe in the door.
A toe in the door?
they just got to grease the bouncer a little bit.
What the fuck are you talking about now?
Get in the Hall of Fame.
Blade is going to the Blade. Wesley Snipes' Blade is the gold standard of that character. Anything else is trying to emulate him. The original costume for Blade looks nothing like Wesley Snipes' Blade's costume, and
read the
Disney has
comics.
decided to emulate Wesley Snipes' Blade costume. They chose to do.
That's because people know that more than the comics.
Yes, it literally dwarfed its source material.
I didn't realize I was making your point.
I
Way to
know.
go.
Can I retract that last
No,
statement?
you can't.
We'll
I am.
edit it out.
It sucks that he's the editor.
I have the power. If I had any editing real power, I would not lose a war room. But I can't win
It's
one.
like
to
I could
save
do
my
a
frickin'
whole
life.
episode talking about each of these movies. Just going bit by bit and how you got setup, payoff, setup, payoff, setup, payoff. It's insane. I mean, in Shaun of the Dead, like the first scene they're talking about. No, what was the first scene? I don't remember.
Oh
But
my
they're-
god! You don't even remember the first scene of your choice. You're defending so.
Like they spoil the movie in like the beginning of every movie without even people realizing they're spoiling the movie. Like we're gonna do this, 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 and this, and then it all fucking happens. It's sneaky.
It's oh wow,
It's sneaky.
super deceptive and sneaky. Well, let me see what does the audience have to say on this?
Better than your fucking movies.
Yeah, but that's because the audience is silly. 7.1 for Blade, the first one, and 7.8 for Hot Fuzz. I hate your people.
Hot Fuzz is the second one though.
Hot Fuzz.
Let's go 1 for 1. Blade 1 got what? 7.1.
Yeah.
Shaun of the Dead.
Okay, hold up. Shaun of the Dead incoming.
You spelled Sean wrong.
No, I
Sheen
didn't.
of the Dead.
It's SHAW.
No, that's not how you spell.
Oh,
Sean.
I got it wrong too.
It's literally-
7.9. It even got one more.
It's not 7.9. Yeah. God God damn it. I hate you so much in my heart. But, so,
And
okay.
Edgar Wright is a great director. He was supposed to do Ant-Man and came up with the whole concept for it. It would have been a lot more fun and better than it turned out to be.
I bet Blade 2 beats
Blade 2 is the best in that trilogy.
by far. Are you... See?
And they got a lower score.
The audience is dumb. See, this isn't a good metric. This isn't a good metric for
They don't
success.
agree with me, so they're wrong.
Yeah, see? The audience score is 6.7 on Blade 2. It's awesome.
What's my lowest score? Go to At World's End.
Oh, my God.
Because that's the worst of the three.
Right, by
It's-
far.
Well, by far is like 0.0001 of a percentage to you.
Shut up. All right, At World's End.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Oh, The World's
okay.
End. Well,
The World's End,
See,
6.9,
6.9,
and I
so
have to
I'm-
pull up Blade Trinity.
that's gonna be like a 5.
I'm freaking doomed. This is, I won't even give Blade Trinity a higher score than that. All right, what do we got?
I didn't even go to say that my trilogy is some of my favorite movies of all time.
I wish we were at 5.8.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
better than I thought.
all right. Well, I guess
That's
we're
not even audience. That's critics.
right.
Which I don't really want them to be on my side, but
Right. Well, they are.
yeah.
So take that.
This is pre-woke era, though.
well, it's still updating. Like people are still making reviews sometimes.
Maybe half the time.
Well, probably gonna call it there.
Yeah, probably.
Well, the Cornetto trilogy is one option.
Which I kind of snuck that in. I mean, doesn't even really count as a trilogy. It's called the Cornetto trilogy.
I have no
but-
problem with it
We're
being a
calling
trilogy.
it.
I
right.
wouldn't disqualify. There's so few trilogies that exist. The list of trilogies that exist is really short. Then we have
Well,
the
not
prequel
really.
Star Wars trilogy.
What about Sharknado? I mean, that's excellent.
This is who you guys are voting for. Like, just remember this. The guy, he just said Sharknado is good. I
You
hate
don't understand sarcasm. Next subject.
no sarcasm in that at all. No, I don't believe it. And then we have the Star Wars prequel trilogy, Slim's Choice, and the correct one, Blade trilogy, which is mine.
I think Slim's gonna probably win this one.
Honestly,
with the audience.
I
to be
wanna
fair, I wouldn't be mad losing to that.
Because mine's more of
But I will-
individual movies.
I'll be
Right.
so mad if I lose to yours, though.
Oh, you're gonna be bottom of the barrel.
I'm fine losing.
Again.
I am a very humble person.
I will vote for you and then take my vote away just to make you feel
right before we count them. All right,
I
guys.
got one.
If you've stuck around this long through the episode, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We hope you liked the video. If you did, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're first time visiting the channel. Share the video around. Give us your thoughts in the comments on which video was your choice. Stay tuned for the poll coming up sometime next week. And let us know your thoughts on the War Room. And we hope you guys go and check out Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And I hope you guys enjoy it. We will leave it there. Peace.
Peace.
See ya.
Bitches.
Bitches and hoes.
Bows,
Hoes.
Yeah, bitches and hoes.
Oh, you're still recording.
Bitches, hoes.